Hi there, I'm Caleb Froedge, and you're listening to Verse by Verse. What is a Christian's main goal in life? Most will conclude that a Christian's primary aim is to follow Jesus Christ in the example that he set for us. This seems pretty straightforward, especially when considering clear scriptures like 1 John 2 and verse 6. He who says he abides in him, referring to Jesus Christ, ought himself also to walk just as he walked. As a Christian, our goal and main objective is to walk in our elder brother's footsteps and the imprint that he left for us. Here's a question for you, though. Does this also mean that our goal and aim as Christians is to obey the 10 Commandments since Christ kept them perfectly? Interestingly enough, many believe that Jesus Christ kept the law so we don't have to. Some even believe that he came to earth to destroy the law. Did Jesus Christ keep the law of God perfectly in an effort to obliterate the law? In Matthew 5 and verse 17, we can read Jesus Christ's own words, and that he said, "Do not think that I came to destroy the law or the prophets. I did not come to destroy, but to fulfill." The word fulfill in verse 17 is from the Greek word plerou, meaning to fill up, to fill to the full. Therefore, Christ was not saying he destroyed the law, but rather that his thoughts and actions perfectly embodied its every intent. He filled it to the full. So how do we reconcile our verse for today? Romans 10 and verse 4. In Romans 10 and verse 4, the Apostle Paul said that Christ is the end of the law for righteousness to everyone who believes. Wait a minute. Christ is the end of the law? Does this mean that Jesus did in fact destroy the law, even though his purpose was to fulfill? What about the scripture in 1 John 2 in verse 4 that says, "If anyone says, 'I know him,' but does not keep his commandments, he is a liar, and the truth is not in him"? Is it no longer sin to murder someone today? Did Jesus Christ make it possible for one to commit adultery and it not be sin? What is this verse saying that Christ is the end of the law? How do we reconcile our verse for today? In verse 4 of Romans 10, the Greek word for end is telos, and the English translators oftentimes translate telos as end. However, other English words include goal, objective, aspiration, purpose, outcome, result, reason, intention, or aim. The fact that telos can mean goal is clearly demonstrated by the New King James translation of 1 Timothy 1 and verse 5, where it says, "Now the purpose of the commandment is love." The word purpose comes from the Greek word telos. Other translations render it as aim or goal. So depending on the context, it can mean end result, but it can also mean the aim or purpose of a thing. In Romans 10 and verse 4, as we consider the other clear verses that uphold God's law, we can conclude that the Greek word telos was establishing Christ's example, and it did not stop the law from being valid. Rather, his perfect example should actually be our aim and goal in keeping the law. This understanding works in harmony with all of the other scriptures. Why would Jesus destroy the law that he kept perfectly? Why would God tell us to keep the law and then go back and say we don't have to? Especially since we're told in Hebrews 13 and verse 8 that Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever.
Verse by Verse is a Life, Hope, and Truth podcast. Check out the show notes to find more free content like videos, articles, and booklets in our Learning Center.